All right, so this time, this is a new test. I am trying something a little different. We're going to be using an actual lapel mic, which is down there. And it's wired, so we haven't gone full on everything, but I'm interested to see in what it sounds like. So we're going to go out here, take a look at what we have today. And we're back on this thing. And what I plan to do today is reinstall my XM antenna. I've been using the standard magnetic XM antenna that came with the little kit, the car kit, forever. I'm one of the last people in the world, I think, that has a couple of lifetime XM subscriptions. I bought 2 of them back in 2006 for about $300 a piece, which was a fair bit of money back then, but looking at what you can get now, it's been a pretty good investment because I've switched them from multiple cars, and now I've got it in my little portable that I use in this, or in my big Dodge, and then I've got it on the wife's 14 Ram. And I just got a notification a few months ago that there was a class action lawsuit, and one of the outcomes of that is it doesn't expire. It used to, they only allowed you to switch it 3 times, and then you had to buy a new subscription. Now you can switch it infinitely, which is honestly fantastic. So my lifetime XM subscription will continue. I never intended to switch it after this, but I was worried that the radio would fail and then I would lose it at that point. But what I've got an idea to do is put in a little shark fin antenna up on top of the roof like new cars have. And then I don't have to have the wire running up underneath this trim piece, which blew off the other day after I tried to replace it. That repair is coming in soon. So anyway, we're going to go get the parts and see if they're going to work. Back in a bit. All right, so this is the antenna that I've been using forever. It's the one that comes with the car kit. There's a, see if we can get a little better number. I don't know if that means anything. 11812280, and then the XM 1115. And it's a little magnetic. Yeah, I had it stuck on the roof, and it worked pretty good. Really no major issues with it. It's just that it ended up having to have this wire run on the roof or across underneath that trim piece for the windshield that I don't have anymore, which is going to get put back on, but I'm going to have to glue it in place, and so I don't want this under there if I can help it. But what I'm going to try to go to is this, which is a satellite radio shark fin for some, I don't know, 2008 to 2012 GM product, or a bunch of GM products. So you have that, which mounts to the roof. I'm going to have to drill a couple of holes. Then you've got a connector and an adapter for this. Let's see if I can show how that works. Not much to it. This is the fitting. It's like a Facra female or something like, or a yeah. And then, no, this is the male, and then this is the female version. You got to get an adapter for that, which, whoops, goes to, that's your adapter for that. So that plugs in just like this. And then you just get a standard male to female XM adapter extension. Plug into that, because this would go directly into the radio by itself, but it's only 18 inches long. So then you get yourself a 10 or 15 foot version of that, which goes down to the female version here, which should hook to the radio. So we're going to try to do that right now. See if I can do that without throwing all this stuff on the ground. And see if it will receive. I'm hopeful. Goes. All right. Turn it on. Maybe. There it goes. Bingo. And we have satellite running. Let's see if I can get out without ripping it off. I'm sure that audio has been fabulous since that fell off. Maybe this isn't a good idea. Oh well. But so we've got satellite now running from that antenna to here. And we got a good 3-bar signal, which is good. Fantastic. So now what I need to do is take this in the house with my calipers, because I can't find a diagram for the 2 holes you got to drill for this. This screw comes off and that weird looking clip compresses and squeezes it, pulls it down against the roof. But it looks like it's got a couple of different sizes. You've got this little thing here in the back, and then these tabs looks like they clip into the hole that you drill in the roof. So the hole is going to be about the smaller diameter of that black plastic piece in there. So I got to take some measurements of that and see how big that holes are going to be. Figure that out, because you need to pull it all the way down till this little gasket seats up against the roof hard. Otherwise, it will leak. And that will pull it down so this rubber gasket on the outside seals to the roof on top on the outside as well. So that'll help. It's got a little drain gap in the back here. And so that's what we're going to do next. Alrighty, so let's see the best way to measure this thing. Maybe about like that. Looks to be about 720 thousandths. And the clips, measuring the outside, they're about 825. That's about 3/4. So basically, if you drill a hole slightly smaller than 3/4, that'll get you through on that one. And this one, similarly, you can, if I can get it to focus, see how that has a similar type bayonet squishy. It seems to be about 160 thousandths. So if you got a little hole just under 200 thousandths back here, and about 3/4 here. I'm sure it's probably metric. That should give us what we need. And the center to center, going to be somewhere in the range of 800 thousandths or so, so about 3/4 of an inch that way as well. So what I think I'm going to do, when I figure out what location I want, I'm going to drill the bigger hole first. And that will allow me to set it, put a little bit of paint on that, set it down, and then let this mark where it needs to be. And then we'll drill the second hole once I figure out where I want it to be. Now, this is a little curved, so I'm going to have to see if I can find a nice spot on the roof. If it needs to be it may need to be closer in the front where the roof curves, to try to find a spot where that's going to make sense on this Ford, because the back of the roof is flat, pretty darn flat. So I'm going to go look around and see what I can figure out as far as something that might match this curve. All right, so we've got the molding off, handle off. I didn't realize there are actually 4 screws that hold the old crap handle in over there. There's 7mm, of course. The rest of this wiring is all from my dash cam. That's been tucked up there. But if we sneak a peek in here, everything looks pretty clear as long as we stay back a ways. And generally, I think if we're going to be about there, probably going to work pretty well. So I was thinking here, well, let's take a look. Yeah, it might be a little bit close to that ridge. So there's some reinforcement up here. I'm probably going to move it back to maybe about there. So I'm going to go get my drill and try to ruin this truck. Back in a minute. So the first thing I've done is pull the little screw off so you can kind of see what we got going on here. And now we're going to drill a hole and enlarge it a little bit. See where we get to the point where it clips in or wants to clip in. So, should be around 3/4 of an inch. That will probably work at this point. So, I need to mark and drill the other hole. Gotta be a little bit larger. I should have pushed that little hole forward just a snot. Alright. Well, we gotta correct that. Let's see if we can do it. Again, it'll look like I did it, but that's okay. Trying to see if I think I may be just a little tight on the big hole, because I haven't hit 3/4 yet on that one. There it goes. There it goes. She is clipped. I'm going to push that in a little bit better, and then we're going to put the bolt on it. And see how we do. That bolt should grab the metal and pinch it down really good. So, give me a minute. All right, and that is what that should look like. If you can see it, let's see if we can zoom in on this baby. See how this works. Enhance, enhance. Maybe if it'll focus. Or not. Yeah, well. But those tabs on the little hold down bracket are designed to spread out. So you got to have that hole. That 3/4 is just the right size. Do not go more than 3/4 on this specific unit. And they grab onto the roof and pull it down. You tighten the bolt until it's completely tight, and that will snug that thing right down to where she is sealed. I'm pretty happy with that. That was a little nerve-wracking. I thought I had screwed it up for a minute. But no, that looks like it went in exactly the way it was supposed to. I'm going to go get the vacuum and get all these silly metal shavings out of this truck. And then the rest of it's fairly simple. You just plug your wires in, run them down, run them over, tidy it up, put your stuff back on, and I should have a factory-looking antenna on a 24-year-old truck that was built before this technology existed. Hell, I think it was built before GPS was capable, because I think 97 was potentially before the GPS system was opened up to the public. So satellite technology has come a long way in 24 years. All right, so that's what we're going to do next. We're going to plug the wires in and run them. Nothing major to see there. I'm just going to kind of put all these back up inside the headliner where they were tucked. I may run them a little differently now that I have some access. I can run them underneath rather than having them all tucked up in here. I'm going to run them a little bit further up top just to get them away. This one goes down to the power. And then I'm going to start putting all of the interior panels back on. So there we go. All right, we got her back together, and it's really solid, nice and snug. I picked about the right spot for the curvature. It's not too bad. Whoop! Copyright. Hopefully that doesn't get snuffed. But we got our antenna working. The wire's all tucked away, got everything put back together, camera's working again, although I had to beat on the rear camera because I did something on the wire while I was at it, but got it working. And it's all good. I wish I could let you hear more of those sick bluegrass beats on this stereo that I put in over Christmas last year, because it sounds pretty good. But all right, now we're done. We got our XM antenna through the roof. Nothing too silly going on up here. Everything looks about like it used to look. So I'll put these few little parts on my Amazon affiliates page if anybody's interested in this kind of thing, because finding the right connectors to adapt all this stuff was a little weird, but we got it. So anyway, that's it for today. Hope you're all having a good day. Take care.